What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Better Call Saul reviews. We finally got episode 8, the kickoff to the final 6 episodes last night, and damn, this episode proves that the final stretch of this show ain't fucking around. This episode very much kind of suited as the part 2 to the episode that left us off for the mid-season finale. It follows through immediately into the after effects of the events of that episode with the death of Howard Hamlin and with Lalo showing back up and making his presence known. So those two episodes very much form a part 1 and a part 2 for the midpoint of this story, and I think that it functioned very well as a kickstart to the rest of this season, being that it just went for it. Immediately when this episode starts, it goes right from where we were left off in the last episode, wastes no time, doesn't get into any subplots or introduce anything new. It just immediately deals with the situation that was presented to us with Howard Hamlin's death and Lalo's reemergence. And let me tell you, Bob Odenkirk and Rhea Seehorn, they gave incredible performances last night, among the best that they've ever given in this show, which is a tall order since they're both very much on point throughout the entire series, and that's very much suitable timing because this morning they were both nominated for Emmys. So congrats to both of them. I hope that at least one of them gets a win because this show certainly deserves it for this series in general, but being the final season, I think that they're both due. Just seeing their reaction to not only what has happened to Howard, but kind of formulating in their mind how they have caused this to happen, where you get the lawyer storyline and the mob cartel storyline that very much converge with an explosion with the death of Howard Hamlin, and the fear and just the inner working of what's going on, especially with Jimmy's mind whenever he's being told specifically by Lalo what he wants him to do, and he's trying to figure out a way to get out of this. He knows that Lalo is not somebody to be negotiated with. He knows that he's not somebody to be reasoned with, but he knows that if he does exactly what Lalo asks him to do, the chances of Kim being killed are significantly greater. So he works out this plan to get them to switch their spots and send Kim to go and enact this hit rather than Jimmy. So if nothing else, he sacrifices himself to save Kim, but maybe, just maybe, they can both get out of the situation. So that was a really interesting kickoff because I knew for a fact, just based off of the frustration and annoyance in Lalo that he just decided to go along with whatever they were saying just to kind of get them to shut up, that this was not exactly what his plan was. This was just piece 1 of whatever was going to happen for the rest of this episode. And there was clearly going to be some twists and some turns and some reveals about what he was actually trying to do throughout the episode. And I think that it was all very satisfying every single time that it lets you know, nope, he's actually going to do this. And nope, that was a distraction. And this was to get Gus to do this. All very smart writing, which has always been the biggest strength of this show as well as Breaking Bad. And I liked how somber the cold open was, to really showing this beautiful beach and starting things off in this happy note and then very slowly showing the shoe and then the car and the wallet and the ring and just leaving everybody in this down note like, oh man, Howard didn't deserve this. Even compounded by the end of the episode where Howard is dropped into that mutual grave, and even just the reaction of Mike where he looks down and is like, this dude didn't deserve this. He was not in the game. This is not what his fate should be, this cover story that we have to now go along with. But it is what it is. Drop them in. So let's talk about Gus and Lalo, because that's the big thing with this episode. Now, I, once again, am very pleasantly surprised at the balls that the writers have for this show. Killing off Lalo and killing off that entire conflict of this season 6 episodes before the end was something that I was not expecting. Like, I called exactly how this was going to go down in the previous episode, or whenever they showed Gus stick that gun in the underground lab. I knew that eventually they were going to have a confrontation down there and Gus or Mike or somebody was going to pull that gun out, and that's how it was going to be the end of Lalo. I figured that they were very directly hinting that, but I did not expect that to happen in this episode, and it was badass the way that it went down. Tony Dalton has just killed it in the role of Lalo for the past couple of seasons, and this entire episode, his confidence, his overconfidence has just been so fun to watch, where he's got the videotape and he's congratulated himself before the victory's even there by telling everything to what was supposed to be Don Eladio and just taunting Gus, pushing him down the stairs, just shaming the dude, treating him like a piece of trash. And we all know, not just because he survives, obviously, being in Breaking Bad, even if Breaking Bad didn't exist, we all know that Gus is way smarter than any of these guys have ever given him credit. He's way more meticulous and way more steps ahead than any of them have ever been. And so just that slow burn wait for when Gus was going to get the upper hand. And I loved the whole scene whenever he just says everything that he wants to say to that camera. He's like, nah, don't kill me yet. Let me tell Don Eladio what I think of his fat ass right now before you kill me. Like, I loved that entire sequence. It very much mirrored episode 3 when Nacho got taken out, where he just got to just say everything that he's been holding in for multiple seasons and just go out like a man. Very similar to that. And it might be my favorite scene with Gus for this entire series thus far, because just seeing him being able to say everything. Like, yeah, this is what the fuck I've been doing. And none of you could have ever even comprehended the thought that I could do something like this, because you're simpletons, you're jackals, you're below scum. And I can't wait to enact the rest of this plan where I've kept Hector alive just so that he can be there to see as I take every single one of you bitches out. And Lalo kind of like this very quiet admiration for Gus. Finally seeing the real Gus come out, seeing that little facade fall for just a moment and get his real thoughts out, where he's kind of like, you truly have balls, sir. Is there anything else? Because you're about to die. Like that whole exchange, I was just smiling ear to ear. Not only because I knew that Gus was about to fuck Lalo up, but just I loved seeing that side of Gus come out finally. And then of course him, kicking the power cord and going and grabbing the gun and taking out Lalo while getting a couple of bullets himself. I love the way that Lalo went out, where he just mustered enough strength to go and just stare over the top of him, victorious, and almost like the Joker. He's got this bleeding smile where he just laughs all the way to the end. He's going to go down in history as one of the best characters in both of these shows. Whenever I eventually do like a character ranking, he's going to be very high. Tony Dalton just was awesome in the role of Lalo, and I loved the way that he got a very satisfying end. Even though it surprised me how early in the season it happened, I don't think they could have done it better. And yet again, I'm at a place with the writing of this show, just like I was at multiple points in Breaking Bad, where I'm sitting here going, I have no idea where they're gonna go now, and I love the fact that I have no idea. Like, in my simple ass, I would have told you if you asked me, where's the next 6 episodes going to go? Well, for the most part, it's going to be still stretching out and building up this ultimate confrontation between Gus and Lalo. That's probably going to be the main conflict by the end of the season. And then, of course, whatever happens that we're not sure of Kimberly's fate, of Kim's fate. And so the fact that they just went ahead and got rid of that entire conflict, that episode 8, we still got 5 more. I'm like, 5 more episodes with the main conflict, the biggest popping conflict on screen just resolved. Holy shit, what could they possibly have in store? And so I'm in a place where I'm very glad that the show is back. I am buckled in and I am ready for the final 5 episodes. I have no idea where we're going and I cannot wait to get there. This show is just awesome. And so I'm very excited with the way that they decided to just pull the rug out from underneath all of us and resolve that entire thing right out of the gate in this second part of this season. And I'm eternally curious at what other tricks they're going to have up their sleeves for the last 5 episodes. So overall, guys, I think this was one of the best episodes of the season for sure, and certainly one of the best moments of the entire series with that final confrontation between Gus and Lalo, and I'm just happy. I'm happy to have this show back. So strap in, guys. It's going to be a wild ride. Well, that's it for this one, guys. If you want to see my other reviews on Better Call Saul, please click this playlist down here. And I'm also going to put my ranking of the 5 seasons of Breaking Bad if you're a fan of that show, which you probably are. Please like and share this video and hit that subscribe button. And as always, remember, opinions are like assholes, but that doesn't mean that you have to be.